coming up on this edition of Southwest TV News. As of October the 1st, the city will fully take over the operation and capital assets of the rural water pipeline. Broncos board chair Liam Chufu announced that the local franchise is joining forces with the Safe Places initiative. And as we look forward to the changing of the season, Environment Canada is calling for a few more mild days to make up for the cooler than normal summer we experienced here in the Southwest. Thanks for joining us here today. The City of Swift Current and its neighboring RM have come to a mutual agreement. We find out more in today's top story. The City of Swift Current has entered into a new agreement with the RM of Swift Current. As of October the 1st, the city will fully take over the operation and capital assets of the rural water pipeline. According to the city's CAO, discussion on this move has been on the table between the two municipalities for the past number of months, and has now come to light for a number of reasons.
The new water regulations that came into place a couple years ago, and with the growth that they've had over the last few years in the RM, the existing lines are getting close to capacity. It's just when you don't have the expertise on staff that the city has, it makes it difficult to plan for where the operations need to be expanded and just how you're going to accommodate that growth. And they were just looking for somebody that would be able to do that for them, and it made sense since the city has that capability.
And as the city oversees the entire operation and maintenance of the water utility, the RM will still play a key role in future development within its borders.
That's part of the agreement, that we sit down together and work that out together, that if everything is feasible, that there's water there, they're capable of supplying water. So that's all part of the agreement that we work with. The city works with us and we work with them.
And after an investment of $750,000 by the RM a few years ago to the city, when it upgraded its water treatment plant, the RM secured enough water for its ratepayers well into the future. Now, with the new rural water pipeline agreement taking effect October the 1st, this further ensures quality service for all RM residents and businesses.
Yes, I think the ratepayers, the water users are going to be happy with what we're doing, hopefully. But yeah, we've heard some feedback that they feel it's not going to hurt them at all.
And as the city assumes the role of overseeing the rural water pipeline, utility fees will remain intact for now.
The agreement specifies the water rates that are to be charged to them, which is 125%, which they're currently being charged, which is to pay off the balance of the money that was used to purchase an water allocation. And then going forward, the agreement states that based on the capital requirements and the cost of operating, the rates will be set accordingly.
Marcus adds the agreement is timely, with the new SaskPower combined gas generation facility set for construction in the RM. As SaskPower has requested that the city operate and maintain the new water line that will be constructed from the South Hill Reservoir to the plant. With water volume for all users in the RM and the city already being considered and not an issue at this point in time. However, some upgrades will need to be made to the rural water pipeline.
There's a need for some upgrades in some areas in order to ensure a reliable water supply, because in some of the directions that the water line has gone, it's getting close to the capacity. So yes, we'll have to look at some upgrades, be it a booster station or an additional line or looping in order to balance out the pressure.
The new 30-year agreement will see the city acquiring approximately 300 water utility customers within the RM of Swift Current. Another exciting season of Market Square returns to downtown Swift Current, featuring live entertainment, fresh garden produce, crafts, and other unique vendors. Market Square, every Saturday at the corner of Central and Chaplin. Proudly presented by the City of Swift Current and Standard Motors, along with Innovation Credit Union and Southwest TV News. The Swift Current Broncos are the first WHL franchise to come on board with the Safe Places initiative. We have all the details in this report. The City of Swift Current and the Swift Current Broncos continue to solidify their partnership following an announcement on Wednesday. Broncos Board Chair Liam Chufu announced that the local franchise is joining forces with the Safe Places initiative to ensure the well-being and safety of its players now and into the future.
We felt it was really important as a member of the CHL and the WHL to also fall in line with that. Certainly, with our history, we talked about it at the Sheldon Kennedy Hall of Fame induction, that it's not something we're going to hide from or run away from. It was a horrific thing that happened when Graham James was here, but it's something that how can we move forward and make life more positive? And this initiative is something along that line, and so we felt it was very important for our organization to endorse it and get behind it and actually implement it.
The Safe Places certification within the Broncos organization includes all coaches, trainers, front office staff, board members, and billets. And with the start of the 2016-17 season on the horizon, Chufu says billets and coaching certification are already in place.
As a practice, we always had our billets have a criminal records check. And so now this is the added piece on top with that whole respect in sport training. We did do some training with our billets as well about nutrition and about having someone else in their home and some of the expectations that the club had. But I think being part of the Safe Places formalizes that process in a very nice way.
Community support for the Safe Places program, which Mayor Jared Schaefer is pleased by, as he hopes the addition of the Broncos will now set a trend for other organizations and individuals to also come on board.
As I said, it really is something that's going to make life easier for those that are volunteering. And I think of my own office. I know an individual, their family are billets, so they've got they're going to be youth certified in order to have Bronco players staying at their house, but they're also involved with their kids in minor sports and whatnot. So instead of all the multiple background checks and things like that, it makes their life easier, but their family's getting some pretty valuable training as well.
Since the Safe Places initiative was launched in January in cooperation with the City of Swift Current and Sheldon Kennedy, approximately 500 local individuals have been certified and received their Safe Places ID cards. In addition, the towns of Maple Creek and Cabri have also come on board with the program, with others set to follow suit across the province. More details on the Safe Places initiative are available through the City of Swift Current.
You blame yourself. You can't think. You can't believe it's actually happened.
As we make our way through the middle of September, Environment Canada is calling for mild conditions for the next several weeks. As the first official day of fall approaches, the leaves are already starting to change, and there's a familiar crispness in the air. And as we look forward to the changing of the season, Environment Canada is calling for a few more mild days to make up for the cooler than normal summer we experienced here in the Southwest.
I think it's really been almost a dual personality of summer. You had a very wet beginning, May, June, July. My gosh, it was almost double the rainfall that you normally would get. And then, of course, when it really matters, August and September have been not on the dry side, but it's been kind of close to normal precipitation, which I think has given ranchers and growers a bit of a break, allowing them to do some harvesting. But I think what also stands out for me is the fact that it wasn't really a warm summer. I I mean, we had in terms of swift current, where you do get a lot of days above 30, maybe on average 15, there might have been 2 or 3 of those days. My sense is there's going to be a lot of good harvest days, a lot of warmth and dry weather ahead. I think we're going to see a warm up, and we're going to see temperatures, certainly during the day, of 22, 25, 26 degrees, and I think that's the pattern we're going to see for a good amount of September.
And as we look beyond the colorful days of autumn and the annual harvest, Phillips says the upcoming winter will be colder than that of 2015-16, but not as brutal as many others are already predicting.
If they're basing their statistics on the fact that it's La Nina, well, we've kind of moved off that. We think that this may be a neutral kind of a winter. My sense is there's no question about it. This is going to be more of a winter than last year. It may start earlier, but I think there'll be moments that we wish we were somewhere else. But I don't think it's going to be a brutal winter that nature's going to try to make up for the cancellation of winter last year and give us a real classic the winter of our grandparents. I think it's going to be something for everybody. I think there's clearly going to be some cold and some snow and some ice, but there are going to be some melting kind of conditions too.
The normal high for this time of the year in southwest Saskatchewan is 20, with an overnight low of 5. Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at southwesttvnews.com. And be sure to follow us on a range of social media. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.